Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Cocktails, a branch of We the People University. This is the channel where I answer your questions and give you insight or a look behind the badge. All the questions that you guys have been asking, like why did I leave the police department? What type of experiences I had. I'm going to be answering those questions on this channel. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, share the video. We want everybody to hear. And I'm going to start off with one of my favorite stories that I love to tell about when I was a police officer. And that is when I had to arrest my friend. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, man, you suck. You're a tyrant. You arrested your friend? But just listen to the story, and you have to listen to the entire story all the way to the end. And also, guys, I've gotten a question before. A lot of people have asked me, they're like, bro, do you think you were a tyrant? Hopefully I don't lose you guys as subscribers and viewers, but I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because I know that I treated people with respect. I never set out to hurt or harm anyone. But the truth of the matter is, I went to an academy that did not teach me the things that I needed to know. So when I first came out of the academy, I thought I was doing the right thing. So I could have been acting as a tyrant. I don't know. I never intentionally did so. There were just a lot of things that I didn't know. I didn't have a clue of. And the reason I started learning more is because I could not stand my field training officer. You know, I was literally this close to laying hands on that guy. If you ask me, was he a tyrant? Yes. I know that for a fact. Right, he was. And I couldn't stand him. So therefore, he would always try and make me feel bad whenever I would try and get an answer out of him about something I didn't know. I got so frustrated with him, I never talked to him. I would just look these things up and read them myself. And so I started learning slowly that way. But I didn't know everything that I needed to know by the time I was out on the road by myself. But I can tell you this, when I learned what the right thing was, I definitely began to do the right thing. But that's a story for another day. Let's talk about when I had to arrest my friend. This is what's happening. I'm new from the academy, it's less than a year. I would say it's about 6, maybe 7 months. And I used to hate conducting traffic stops. Maybe I was a little scared. Maybe I just didn't like them. I didn't like traffic stops. So to help me get used to conducting more traffic stops, I would go and sit at the stop sign and wait for someone to run the stop sign. Well, I had a certain level that I use, a certain gauge, like what's going to determine if I write a ticket or a warning. If you come to the stop sign and you slow, but I can see that you're looking both ways and clearing the intersection, all right, that's a warning. You saw that no other cars and no other vehicles were coming. It was safe for you to pass. Yeah, you didn't come to a complete stop, but it's about the safety, right? But if you came to that intersection and just right through with no brakes, nothing, cars run through this four-way stop sign at 40 miles per hour sometimes, even faster. And so that one is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was going to write that citation because you're going to kill someone. And when you kill someone, all the sorries and apologies in the world, it won't bring their child back to them. It won't bring the husband back to the wife or the wife back to the husband, parents back to the children. Those people who you've killed are lost forever. And that was my mindset. So at that point, I would write those tickets. And those were probably like the only tickets I ever really write. If I wrote you a ticket, you deserved it. And I'll tell you this, my lieutenant used to make fun of me because I hardly ever wrote tickets. He goes, "You gonna start practicing writing citations one day?" And I just joke back like, "Yes, sir. I'm gonna get it right one day," whatever. And they will always say stuff like that because I would walk inside the department when we turn in our paperwork at the end of the shift with a handful of warnings. I just believe that just because you did something wrong, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be arrested or you have to have a citation. Some things can be used as teaching tools. And when I was a paramedic, before I went into law enforcement, we called them teachable moments. So as I'm sitting at the stop sign one day, a group of little kids come walking by. And I started talking to the kids. Hey, where you guys going? I'm playing around with them. And they're like, we're going to the store. And they went to go buy them some candy. So they had to cross that 4-way stop sign. So they cross. 15, 20 minutes later, they come back. I see them. I'm playing with the kids. Hey, you mind if I get some candy? They tried to give me some candy for real. I was like, nah, I'm just joking. But anyway, they go home. So when they go home, they are walking away. And shortly after they pass over that 4-way stop sign, car comes through. Now it's a guesstimation because I didn't clock the car, but I'm guessing at the speed, 40 miles, probably faster. Never touched the brake, just right through. What if those children were walking through that 4-way stop sign at the time? You just flew through that stop sign without even touching your brake. And so every day that I went to work, the first place I would go to after shift change is that 4-way stop sign because I wanted to make my presence known. They're going to know, hey, the police are sitting at this stop sign, so we have to come up and stop. If not, we're going to get a ticket. God forbid if you do anything worse, like kill someone, you're going to go to jail, prison. That's why. Just be safe. Just stop. It's not that bad. Yeah, you may be late to work or you may be late to a meeting or an appointment or something like that, but don't kill anyone or yourself in the process of trying to get there. Even if you have to get there another day, it's better than never getting there at all. So one day as I'm sitting there, this SUV goes through the stop sign and this person never touches the brake. A guy, I'm behind this guy, I'm running his tag and everything. I'm like, oh wow, tag suspended as well. Tag suspension, no insurance. The list goes on. The list just piles up. He had maybe about 5 arrestable offenses. I'm trying to get him to stop. He's not stopping. And so I dispatch 911. 911-236, vehicle's not stopping. So my sergeant comes over the radio. Okay, what do you have? Because if you don't know this, I'm sure most of you may already know, but if you don't know this, you can't conduct what we call a 1080, which is a high-speed chase or chasing the vehicle, unless it fit within the policy. Some departments have a policy, they don't even chase you. If you run, they let you go, and they will call the next department who may chase, and they may chase you. Certain departments have it where it has to be a certain crime, at a certain level. Anything shoplifting for, let's say, a misdemeanor. Stole a shirt from Walmart. Not get into a high-speed chase for that. Why? Because you're going to put the public, the communities in danger. People get hurt bad sometimes in high-speed chases. So my department, we would chase for things like DUI, if it's a known felony, drug situations, like something, it had to be serious. Nothing not serious we wouldn't chase for. So the sergeant comes over the radio. He goes, what do you have? And I'm like, well, not stopping at the stop sign. Sergeant goes, okay, well, call it off. That's not a reason we're going to chase. And nor was I chasing him at the time. I was just still behind the car with the lights on. So I turn off my lights. Just as I'm about to turn onto the next road to turn off, I'm waiting for a road to come up. Well, he pulls into the McDonald's. I said, okay, cool. Now I go back over and I pull in behind him because he stopped at this point. Maybe he's stopping for me, or maybe that was his location where he was going, so he could stop. Now I would tell you this, it was a long way from that stop sign. So maybe not. So I go over there, I turn my lights back on, and I go up to the window and I go, man, what's going on? Why didn't you stop for me? He's really nervous. He's just like stuttering and and I could smell all, I know most people are like, oh, cops always say they smell something. No, I could really smell something. It wasn't a, let me fish for something. When that window came down, everything came out and I could smell all the drugs that he had in the car. It was crazy. Let me correct that. Let me not say all the drugs. It was marijuana. But I could smell it. It was really strong, right? In the state of Georgia, they changed it to it had to be, a certain amount before it becomes arrestable. Anything before that, it's a citation. So he had the marijuana at an arrestable weight. He had suspended license, no insurance. He had a list of things that was going on. And I'm like, oh my God, remember, every offense doesn't require an arrest. I don't have to conduct an arrest. If a police officer tells you, hey, I have to arrest you, it has to be something serious. Robbery, one of the 7 deadly, something like that. But if it's a misdemeanor, something not too serious, we have what's called discretion. I can, use my discretion to say, hey, listen, I'm going to use this as a teachable moment. Don't do this again. But in this particular situation, this guy had so many things going on. Like, I'm kind of wondering between myself, like, okay, if I don't, arrest this guy, plus he does have like a lot of, he's over the limit, citation limit. So I got to take him in. So while I was talking to him, he was a really cool guy, really nice guy. I'm talking to him, driving to the department. I'm like, guy, what's going on? You seem like a really nice guy. Well, talk to me if you want to. He chose to talk to me, so he's talking to me like, man, we moved from Chicago to Georgia, and we've had a very, very hard time in this transition. He goes, yes, I smoke weed. So, and at this point, half the country smokes weed at this point. Many states have legalized it. So, side note, marijuana is never anything that I want to arrest for, because I believe so many states have legalized this. Now, I don't smoke marijuana, nor do I condone anyone to smoke marijuana, because I still believe it has a harmful effect on your body. So, but if many states have legalized this particular drug, many people are making a killing off of selling it legally. I don't want to mess now, just because you happen to be in a particular state where I have discretion. I don't want to mess up your life or your record where on something that's not as serious and other people are benefiting off of it. Something, I could be wrong, it's just my opinion. Something just doesn't seem right about it. But again, he had a slew of things going on. It was just like, oh my God. So he was telling me, I moved from Chicago to Georgia and I got all these things going on. Yeah, I smoke some marijuana, but that's it. I'm really trying to get on my feet. I actually have an interview for Walmart coming up. So when he pulled into the McDonald's, that was his job. Yeah, I would tell anyone, don't go to your job hot. Don't go walk inside of McDonald's. If you work there, smelling like marijuana. But anyway, he was going to work. Also, he told me he had an interview for Walmart. So, okay, great. He said, I'm trying to get on my feet. I'm going to work 2 jobs. I'm going to get my license and my registration, everything taken care of, and the other few things taken care of. So I'm driving this guy down to the department, and I tell him, hey, listen, man, you sound like a good guy, just dealing with some things right now. Make sure you show up to court. I know the judge personally, and this judge is a very lenient judge. The only thing he's really looking for, in my opinion, is for you to be responsible, be accountable, accept the fact that you messed up, and he will really work with you. Even our city attorney, she used to get upset, like, oh my God, does this judge ever convict anyone? She was upset because he was very lenient. But if you walk into his courtroom, made a ton of excuses, or if you were disrespectful, you were going to jail. So it was up to you. You can really be in control of the outcome, of your situation, as long as it wasn't something, too, crazy or seriously deadly or something. Now let's fast forward. Maybe let's fast forward 2 months, a month and a half, maybe 2. And this was during the time also that the court systems, everything was backed up. So no one was going to court like right away. The system was just all jacked up. So I get a notice that I had to be in court for this particular arrest. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty fast. So it was weird though. It was really weird because no one was going to court this fast. So what I do, I go to my lieutenant, my sergeants, I go to one of the guys who is like known as the traffic Nazi. Like, if you blink too fast and the state law says you only can blink once in 5 seconds, he was there and he was writing a citation. So I'm like, it was really overboard, overkill, like too much. But I knew he knew a lot of times what was going on. He had a lot of information and knowledge. So I go to him and I ask him, have you ever seen somebody go to court, this fast on these things? He was confused. That was the first. So he was confused. I was confused. My lieutenant didn't know. I get inside the courtroom. I'm asking everybody who's working inside the court. This is a little weird. No one knew. Okay, cool. So I'm there. They call his name. He's not there. Wow. So now they issue a warrant for his arrest. The judge looks at me, he's like, you made the arrest, right? Yeah. At his job? Yep. Yeah. I know where he works. Gives me the warrant, arrest warrant. So I get the arrest warrant. I go up to his job and he's not there. Me and like two other officers. And we tell the people working there, hey, don't tell them we're coming, which we knew they were. We go back later that night. It's like 11:30 going, almost 12 o'clock. He's there. I go back behind the counter, say, hey guy, I got a warrant for your arrest. Hey, come talk to me outside real quick. He's like, what's going on? I said, just come outside and talk to me really quickly. And at first he was a little hesitant. And I had to remind him, like, man, we had good rapport. I'm not going to try and, take advantage of you, but you do have a warrant right now. He was like, why? I said, step outside. I don't want to, put your business out in front of everybody. Let's go talk. So I get him outside. I place him in cuffs. I let him know he has a warrant for his arrest. And I ask him the question, like, hey, listen, man, we had this talk. Why didn't you just show up to court? And he goes, court? I wasn't supposed to be in court. I'm like, yeah, you were. It was actually February 14th, Valentine's Day, when we were in court. He goes, no, I wasn't supposed to be in court. I don't go to court until April the 16th. And I'm like, April the 16th? And when he said that, it kind of brought back the memory a little bit. And I was like, something might be up, because I was already thinking it was weird to start with that he had to be in court that fast. And I'm like, you sure? And so I asked another officer, one of the guys who helped train me, who I actually liked, who was a cool guy. We have like several different trainers, but this is one of those who was, he was a stand-up guy. He tried to do his job the best that he knew how. So I asked him, do you think something's up here? He goes, go back into your computer and see if you can find the original citation. So I go and look, I can't find it. It's already, 30 days, it's out. The guy goes, I still have my paperwork. I can have my wife take a picture of it and send it over. I let him use my phone. Wife takes a picture of the paperwork. Sure enough, sends the exact papers that I gave him with my signature, his signature, April 16th court date. This was February 14th. Like, whoa. So now this is a bad warrant. So now I call my lieutenant. I go, hey, LT, here's the situation. Warrant's bad. I explain it to him. And he goes, well, that's going to be between him and the judge. Got to get cleared up when he sees the judge. Now, mind you, it's Friday night. So it's Friday night. So he goes, take him down and book him. And I'm like, wow. So now I have this guy in the back seat of my car. This time I'm not really talking to him. My mind is going right now like, this isn't right. This isn't right. I mean, I wouldn't want to go to jail for something that's not my fault. This is on the court. I'm driving him down. I get to booking. And we had like a little small booking station. We did our own bookings. During the daytime, we would have like an officer dedicated to just booking people in. But at night, we did our own. He's sitting in front of the desk. I'm behind the desk. And I'm just sitting there. My arms are folded. He's all disappointed. I mean, obviously, he's disappointed. So I'm like, yeah, this ain't right. So I called my sergeant. And I tell my sergeant, Sarge, listen, I have this guy. He is not, this is a bad warrant. Warrant, horrible. He was not even supposed to be in court today. It wasn't his fault. We just went and picked this guy up off of his job. 3-4 officers walk in there and put him in handcuffs. Chances are he's going to be fired. So, and I spoke to LT, he told me to book him in. I don't feel right with this. So my sergeant, he asked me about 5-6 times, go back, double check, and make sure. And I'm like, Sarge, I've double checked, I've triple checked, I've quadruple checked. Well, I've checked to the point where this is accurate. He's telling the truth. He has the documentation. I even find at the station the old documentation. So it's like, well, yeah, he's telling the truth. He's not supposed to be in court right now. Well, he wasn't supposed to be in court today. So Sarge tells me, you're going to have to call the judge. Now, it's like, remember I told you when we initially went to go pick him up, it was like 11:30, almost 12 o'clock at night. Now that we get all of this settled somehow, it's like 1:30, almost 2 in the morning. And I have to call the judge to tell the judge your warrant that you issued was bad. I'm like, okay, so making my mind up. Yep, tonight I'm getting fired. That's just what's going to happen. So I'm like, yep, getting fired. I call my wife first and I tell her, hey, listen, so this is the situation. You may have to take care of the bills alone for a little while till I find another job. I think I'm gonna get fired tonight. So she's like, why? She's all panicking. So I explained it to her. So I got to go call the judge now. So I'll call you back. Go and call the judge, 2 o'clock in the morning, and explain to him the situation. And the judge states, okay, let him go. I'm like, wow, that's it? Just like that? Like, okay, yes, sir. And I, thank you, sir. Hang up the phone. I call my lieutenant back. I goes, Lieutenant, I spoke with the judge. The judge told me to let him go. It was a bad warrant. He shouldn't be there. So the lieutenant goes, okay, well, cut him loose. He tells me to go through this process because he thought I booked him in, but I never even booked him in because I just didn't feel right with the situation. Like, nah. Tells me what to do, and then he tells me to let him catch an Uber back to work. Oh, God. Now, I don't feel right about that either because he didn't catch an Uber to the police station, right? So I call my sergeant again. I tell him, Sarge, can't do that one either. Can't do it. Mind you, I've made up in my mind at this point, I'm getting fired tonight. So I put the guy back in my car and I drive him back to the McDonald's and I go inside with him and I explain to his manager, this was all a big mishap. This was not his fault, none of it. And so I explained that clearly to the manager. He was able to keep his job. Thank God, right? While I'm on the phone with the lieutenant, the sergeant, and the judge and everybody, this guy's still right in front of my desk and he's just staring at me. He's sitting in front of my desk the entire time listening to the conversation as I'm on the phone. And when I look at him, he has tears in his eyes. The guy's like literally tearing up, like crying. And he goes, he says to me, I've never seen the police fight to get somebody out of jail before. You know, and I was trying to be tough. I was trying, like, all right, like, yeah, guy, you know, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, wipe your face, you know, trying to keep me from tearing up because it was one of those moments. And I'm like, wipe your face, man. You know, I'm trying to be tough, you know. But it was touching because just to know that you were able to help someone, that could be the turning point of that person's life. And here's the kicker. That was the turning point of his life. So one day, me and my wife were going to Walmart, right? Remember, I told you I had a second job lined up, which was the following day. That Saturday, he was supposed to be there, his first day to start, to try and help get another job to work himself out of the financial situation that he was in. He sat in jail over the weekend and I booked him in. You know, he would have never had that job. McDonald's probably would have fired him and his cycle would have continued. But he didn't go to jail. Well, he was not booked in. He was able to go to his job, Walmart. So he was able to keep his job. A week or so later, me and my wife were at Walmart and I'm not in uniform. And we're checking out, and guess who walks over? It's him. He's gonna say, "Hey, what's up, man?" And we're like, "Oh, what's going on?" And we're talking, and you know, it's a really nice conversation. He walks me all the way out to my car. My wife doesn't say anything, but she's quiet. So he walks me out to my car, and me, I'm so rude. I should have introduced her. I don't know. I'm horrible at introducing people, so you know, I suck. But we walk out and we're just talking, you know, having a good conversation. I'm glad to see that he has his job. You know, everything worked out. So he has his job. He walks me out. And when he takes my cart back in for me, my wife goes, "Who's that?" Oh, I'm sorry. I should have introduced you, right? And I tell her, "You remember the guy from like a week, 2 weeks ago that I told you that he had the warrant, but he really shouldn't not have had the warrant?" She's like, "Yeah, that's him." She goes, "Oh my God, really?" Like, yes. So, I think it's an awesome story and I tell it to everybody because here we are, 2022, 4 years later. And 4 years later, guess what? Still my buddy. We're still friends. He still checks on me. I check on him. He's doing good, improving in a lot of different aspects of his life. So that was a turning point for him. And what if I was just like the type of cop to be like, you know what? Hey, that's between you and the judge. You know, you got a warrant. Clear it up for him. And then I send him or lock him up. That would suck. It would really suck. But man, that's one story that I'm happy to tell. And I hope you guys understand that I'm not saying names, so I'm not putting names out there. But that's one story that I'm happy to tell. I'm proud of it. Because if I haven't done anything else right in my life, I think or I hope that that was right, you know. So that's one of my stories as far as being a police officer. I have a ton more, trust me, and I'm going to be telling them. So guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, make sure you turn that bell on so you can get all of the notifications. And yeah, so make sure you check them all out. Check out every story. They're all very interesting. I know I get the question a lot, why did I leave the department? Make sure you guys check that one out. But yeah, man, I think this is what you guys have been asking me for. I get several emails. I see it in the comment section on We the People University. So I told my wife I'm going to create a channel called Cocktails, where I can just tell the viewers everything they want to know. You guys can email me cocktails@gmail.com. Send me over your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. I want to say this really quickly. With We the People University, I know some of you guys get upset with me, but please try and understand that the emails can become overwhelming, and I don't have enough time in the day to go through them all. Just like the comments, I try and comment back or hit the heart button, but sometimes it gets to the point where it's 1,000 comments or 2,000 comments, or even 500 or 200 comments. It's a lot for one person to, I know some guys, some content creators, they actually go out and hire people to respond to their comments and things of that nature, but I don't want to do that. I don't think that's not me. I want to be able to respond to you personally, but I just can't respond to everyone. So please bear with me. I try and get to the emails as quickly as I can. So if you guys got any questions about a story that I may or may not have had or experienced while I was a police officer, cocktails@gmail.com. Send it over and I'll do my best to respond to it. But make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, we are signing off.